Death and I rise as one.
We are going to dive into the mechanics of Dota 2 and we will learn about controlling your hero, moving around, purchasing different items and combat and movement control, basic combat and leveling up the abilities and ability usage, all about quick cast and miss of the high ground attacks, and finally the ultimate abilities of this hero. So without wasting any time, let's go into the mechanics tutorial of Dota 2. Unlike other games, Dota 2 has a very well explained mechanics in the learning and tutorial of this game. So it says in this tutorial you will be controlling Luna, a swift hero who throws blades at her enemies from a short distance and summons damaging beams from the sky. You will be playing for the Radiant team against the enemy Dire team. As you can see, my lane name over here is Luna, and the game has pre-activated my third skill. So it says the fountain is a source of healing, which means you can come back to the fountain to heal yourself if you are damaged or if you have taken some damage or if you have used your abilities and you do not have that blue bar over here. This blue bar is consumed when you are using your abilities such as Q, W, E or R. Whenever you use an ability, it consumes mana. This blue bar is called mana, M-A-N-A, mana. So whenever you are near your team's fountain, you will quickly restore your health and mana. Health is your green bar and mana is your blue bar. So this over here is the Dire's fountain and this over here is the Radiant's fountain. As we had already discussed in the previous video, this is the Radiant's Ancient, where Radiant has to defend, and this is the Dire Ancient, the Dire has to defend. Now for movement and selection, you select your hero or whatever you want to select with your left click, like that. You can select whatever you want and you can move with right click. Somehow if you are off your camera and you want to go back to your hero, just press the spacebar once and you'll be back at your hero. So it says right click to move your hero. Let's right click and move our hero for once and go over here. Now this is my ancient. We have already discussed what an ancient is and how important it is for our team to defend in this game of Dota 2 in my previous video. Now we always get some starting gold to spend over buying some essential items that we require in the laning stage so that we can win the lane and essentially win the game. Now this shop is available back at your team's fountain. Head there now. Let's go back into team fountain. Now left click the shop button near the lower corner of your screen to open the shop. This is the shop button and we can click this. Now this shop can give you so many different types of items that you can use to help your way over victory. For example, it can grant you lifesteal, it can give you invisibility, it can give you teleportation, it can give you bonus damage, it can give you critical damage, it can give you spell lifesteal, it can give you health, it can give you so much different things, magic immunity, physical immunity and whatnot. So you have to have a sense of what kind of item you are going to purchase on your hero and how is it going to affect the other 4 different heroes that are playing with you on your lane in the game. So it says right click the tango item in the shop to purchase. This is a tango item. What does tango does? It consumes a target tree to gain 7 health, regeneration for 16 seconds. In total that's around 112 regeneration. It comes with 3 charges. That means it will give you 336 health regeneration. It consuming an ironwood tree would double the heal amount. Now this is an ironwood tree. This ironwood tree is costing for 50 bucks only and gives you +1 all attributes. But if you are using this to heal yourself, even though it's healing for double the amount, but you're wasting 50 gold for just another tango, that's pretty expensive if I would say. Now this is a healing salve. A healing salve heals you for 40 seconds, 40 health regeneration per second for 10 seconds. That's around 400 health regeneration, but this effect is lost whenever an enemy hero or an enemy control unit will hit you. Let's purchase this tango first and then this healing salve with the right click. Now this clarity is used to regenerate your blue bar over here. Let's purchase that as well. it regenerates 6 mana regeneration for 30 seconds. In total, that's 180 mana. And this circlet, it gives you +2 all attributes. As you can see, I have 21, 18, and 23 attributes. If I purchase this, I will have +2 in all of these. And this gives me +3 bonus agility. And since I am an agility hero that you will learn as slowly as you progress into the game, you will purchase this item more than often on this hero. Now it gives you +3 bonus agility, as you saw over here. Now some of your starting items can be consumed to heal or restore mana, which we have already discussed in this past talk session. Now there are 3 lanes across the battlefield, connecting the bases of both the teams. These lanes are called the top, middle, and bottom. The top lane over here is pretty much the hard lane for Radiant. This is the mid lane and this is the safe lane for Radiant. As you can see, I'm moving my mouse over here and you can see the tower difference between these two towers and these two towers is pretty massive. These two towers are pretty much far apart and these two towers are pretty much close, which means the amount of distance covered from going over here to here is pretty less. Meanwhile, the amount of distance covered from here to here is pretty much more, pretty so high. That means every 30 seconds the creeps spawn and they go into the direction of the enemy base. So whenever the 30 seconds start, the next creep that comes over here, it tries to go and walk all the way over here and tries to go into the enemy base. Similarly for this lane as well and this lane as well. But since we have already talked about this, this lane is pretty much short. The lanes will be far more pushed into this lane. Meanwhile, the same case happens for this as well. The creeps, this lane is pretty much short. The creeps will be far more pushed into this lane, and the creeps from this lane will be around over here because they have traveled a lot of distance. So this means the creeps in this lane are pretty much close to the tower over here. Meanwhile, the creeps in this lane are so far away from this tower, that means it's pretty much hard for you to win this lane because you will not be able to last hit in this lane on the top lane. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the creeps will hit over here exactly in the middle if there is no blocking of the creep waves, and both the heroes can win the game and win the lane according to the last hit potentials. Now, finally talking about this lane, the creeps will try and hit over here, this point, and the towers is pretty much close to the creep wave over here, and your heroes who are standing in this lane right here are pretty much in comfort zone and can easily secure last hits, which I am going to talk about in this tutorial later on. So clearly this is pretty much safe for these guys to farm over here. So this is called the safe lane, this is called the mid lane over here, and this is called the off lane because it's pretty much hard for you to farm over here. You're expected to lose this lane around 70%, 30% ish chances of you winning and losing this lane. That means you have a 30% chance of winning this lane. Meanwhile, the opponent safe laner has a 70% chance of winning that lane. This is pretty much 50-50 on the both sides, maybe 60-40 depending on the mid matchup, and this is 70-30 in your favor. So you should be winning your safe lane and you should be losing your hard lane. And if your hard lane loses, you are never to blame him for losing that lane because it's supposed to be hard that way. Now let's talk about going into the mid lane first. So it's asking us to move around over here. Now your team's foot soldiers, called creeps, will spawn near the edge of your base in each lane every 30 seconds. Creeps automatically march toward the enemy base, attacking any enemy units or buildings that they encounter. For example, if the creeps are spawning over here, they will try to walk in this lane, and they try to hit whatever that they can, and eventually the ancient, if all of this is broken down already. But if nothing is broken down, they will meet over here and try to hit the enemy creeps that are coming onto them, and the mid laners can secure last hits by killing or denying their own creeps. Now a wave of creeps is about to respawn. Follow them into the combat. Let's go. Now it says right click to move into the battle. Let's go over here. As you can see, they are trying to go in a single line and they are trying to go into this lane over here and fight whenever they can see an enemy hero. Unlike last hit bounties, experience points are shared between all nearby allied heroes whenever an enemy is slain. Earning experience points and gaining levels allows you to augment your hero's abilities, which means if I am killing an creep in front of me and there is another hero right next to me, then we both will be sharing the death experience that will be provided by that single creep. But if I am solo in the lane and I am the only one who is enjoying the experience of killing that creep, then I will level up faster in this lane because I am the only one who is soaking all the experience. So this can be clearly understood in the game where the offlane is solo playing against 2 or 3 heroes in his lane, and he can win that lane as well because obviously he'll have more level than the opponents because the opponents are sharing the single experience into 3 people and 3 heroes. Meanwhile, the your offlaner is only the one who is taking all the experience from the creeps and trying to get as much levels as he can and reach that power spike before he can go and kill your enemy's safe lane. Similarly, the case happens for hero dying as well. If 2 or more heroes are in the vicinity of an enemy hero dying, then all of the heroes will share the experience of that enemy hero dying. That means solo kills are way more experience rich as compared to when 2 or more people are coming to kill a single hero in the battlefield. So let's talk about last hitting. Last hitting is an important phenomena of Dota 2. You have to last hit the creeps in order to secure the gold or the bounty, whatever you want to say it. It doesn't really matter. So I'll just call gold for everyone out there who is new to Dota. So whoever wants to earn gold in Dota, they have to last hit the creeps. Now somehow if you miss out a last hit, then you will not be granted the creep gold even if you tried so hard to kill it. For example, if I'm trying to kill 1,000 health bear and I did 990 damage and somehow my support just comes and right clicks once again and secures the bounty because the last hit is secured by my support and not by me. That means whoever last hits the enemy unit or an enemy control unit or an enemy will receive the gold. And we will talk about denies while I'm playing this over here. So for example, this is the way of blocking my creeps. Now I'll try to last hit this creep over here like that, and I'll try to deny my creep by pressing A and clicking on my creep again. I'll try to last hit again over here and deny on my creep. Similarly, I wait for this creep to get low and I click again. Denying, I press A and denied. Now I'm level 2. At each and every different level, you are allowed to level up whatever skill that you want from the first 3 skill set available to you. You can either level up your first skill, which is also known as Lucent Beam, or you can level up your second skill, which is known as Moonglaves. And since you already have a point in third skill, you cannot upgrade it straight up, but you have to wait for one adjacent level for upgrading that ability. So now it wants us to upgrade the Lucent Beam. Now let's go and upgrade this Lucent Beam as quickly as possible. And it's asking us to press the Q button and hitting on a creep. So let's press a Q button and hit on the creep over here like this. And it deals damage on the creep, that's it. It just deals damage, does nothing else. It stuns and deals damage. So that's what this Luna hero is. Now I'm going to talk about 2 more things that I told you. One is denying, why you have to deny, and one is the high ground miss attack chance. Now you have to deny your creeps as much as possible because you want to deny the experience that is received by the enemy hero in the lane. If you can deny the entire creep wave, then that means your enemy just lost 50% of the experience that he should have been receiving. But instead he's only stuck with 50% because you denied the entire creep wave. Now, denying also helps you in securing your lane and also winning the lane and the game, because if you're denying a lot, then that means your enemy is completely crushed in the lane, and he has to either go jungle or switch the lane with the other enemy heroes. Now, there are two more things left in this video that I'm going to talk about. One is called the high ground miss attack. Let's talk about that right now. Now, if I'm trying to hit creeps that are on the high ground over here, I'm currently on the low ground. So for example, if I'm trying to hit this creep over here, I have a percentage chance of missing the attack, like that miss. It's around 5% that I can miss my attack. I'm missing again. So you can see I have to go up to confirm the last hit, or I might be missing that attack on. Let's talk about runes last and foremost in this tutorial as quickly as possible. Now this is called the double damage rune. As in the name it suggests, it increases the base damage by 100%.
Double damage!
You can see my double damage is increased to double.
Starlight.
Now this rune over here is called the invisibility rune. You become invisible for 45 seconds.
The hunt.
Let's take this rune and become invisible. Whenever you try to hit or use an ability or use an item, your invisibility will be lost. For example, if I'm trying to use my invisibility by pressing Q, I will stun and unlock my invisibility over here.
Illuminating.
Now since clearly I have the double damage running on, I can just simply last hit and secure last much easier as compared to what I was doing earlier.
Quickly now.
There's one more rune that I need to talk to you about. It's called the bounty rune. They spawn every 5 minutes over here, over here, over here, and over here. This bounty rune, it just grants you gold. I have 518 gold right now. I get 50 more
upon
gold.
A loyal warrior.
40, my bad.
Stalking.
Now currently, if I get to level 6 as soon as possible, we'll talk about all the different abilities in this map as well.
Yeah.
As you saw, I had a miss chance right now.
Red moon.
Somehow the runes have stopped spawning, and I have no idea why they're not spawning.
We ride.
There's another rune known as a haste rune. It allows you to run at a movement speed of 550 milliseconds or whatever that is, 550 ms. And you run pretty quick. You run like a train in 550 ms.
Let's go.
And another rune is called the arcane rune. It reduces the cooldown and the time of your spells. I hope they spawn the runes again. I really want to show you the runes.
Absolutely.
One is called the illusion rune. The illusion rune allows you to create illusions of yourself and debuff all the wrong buffs that you have upon yourselves. Now again, we got an invisibility rune. So you can see if I click on an enemy unit or even my own unit, I will dispel my invisibility. Now this is the illusion rune which I was talking about a few seconds earlier. Now this conjures 2 illusions of your hero which deal 35% of the damage. Melee illusions take 200% damage while range illusions take 300% damage. The illusions last for 75 seconds only, so you can control these illusions wherever you want them to go. For example, if I want this to go over here, I can let it go over here and click these. And I can fake my enemies that this is the real one. It's moving around. You can see I'm taking a lot of damage right now. So I just skilled up my level 2, my skill 2 over here, which is the moon glaives. Now it simply bounces the attack of your hero onto different enemy units. As you can see, it says empowers Luna glaives, causing her attacks to bounce between enemy units. It deals less damage with each bounce. Now the damage reduction per bounce is 35%, which means there's not a lot of damage that's bouncing off against a lot of enemies. But the more important thing to look about over here is that this ability is passive. This ability is passive, but this ability is an active ability, which means you have to press your key in order to activate this ability. Meanwhile, you don't have to press any key for this to activate. Passive means that something happens on its own, and active means that you have to press a key for something to happen. So clearly, I have a Q bind over here. My general key bindings are Q, W, E and R, but clearly W and E are passive abilities, so we are not allowed to press W and E because it's completely pointless for us to press. So this game just simply removes the option to press W and E altogether. Now, if I'm talking about
Far the night.
leveling up to level 6 as possible, as fast as possible, let's get to level 6 quickly.
Lucent beam.
Got an invisibility again. How unlucky we are.
What do you see?
Let's check the bottom rune quickly. Oh my god. You can also deny the
Yes.
invisibility rune or whatever rune that you want to by pressing A and clicking on that rune
Yes.
like this. In the demo mode, it's not
Salamene
allowing you to
commands.
deny, but you can deny that. For example, if you don't want your hero or your
Yeah.
enemy hero to get level invisibility or a particular rune like double damage, you can simply
Crescent
deny the
seal.
rune. So now we are level 6.
You
And
won't
we'll talk
escape.
about this level 6 ultimate ability right here. This level 6 ultimate ability works on the current level of your Lucent Beams. So for example, if your Lucent Beams are maximized out, then that means your ultimate ability will deal a massive amount of damage. As you can see, it damages com as to the same level of the cube over here, the Lucent Beam. So now right now, my Lucent Beam has a damage of 150. So if I press my ultimate over here, I will deal a lot of damage.
Let's go.
So I'm pressing ultimate over here.
Let's
3, 4, 5, 6. As you can
On
see, it
the
gave me 6
hunt.
bounces, and it clearly shows over here. The total number of beams that can be coming out of the Lulan's ultimate is 6. As you can see right over here, total beams is 6, and max beams per unit is 5. The radius is 675. That means it can be cast in a 675 radius around Luna, and its eclipse duration is 2.4 seconds because you are only going to cast 6 beams. That's really quickly. So now we have talked about mischance on the high ground, we've talked about ultimate abilities of the hero, we've talked about different runes. In the next video, we are going to talk about quick cast and how to use quick cast and how not to use quick cast. So let's now complete this tutorial. 6 and clear this tower down. Suppose if I'm
quickly
taking
now.
some tower damage from this tower, I'll take some tower damage
Far the
and
night.
then I'll use my healing salve on myself, and you can see it's restoring health at a very fast speed.
Good plan.
And somehow if I have some mana used up, I can use the clarity on myself to restore mana. Now it says we can go up and
Night
play
Silver is safe once more.
the full guided bot matches. Now this is pretty much exciting feature by Dota, and it's allowing us to use the bot matches first before going straight up into the normal matches in 5 versus 5 human versus human. It also have different type of heroes that we can use to learn about the hero, and you can also use the multiplayer match to go into the multiplayer match as a 5 versus 5, or you can also play against as 5 humans versus 5 bots and try to win. For example, if I'm going to click over here and practice with bots in co-op. Now, with co-op, you can learn this game with 5 different new heroes who are learning just the same as you against 5 different bots, and you can try to win the game. And clearly, this is a very good move by the Dota community and the Dota developers over here for encouraging different users in to be able to learn Dota and the skills of the heroes. And lastly, this is the last hit trainer that I need to talk about that everyone should do before going into the match of Dota. This last hit trainer allows you to practice last hitting and denying the creeps as much as possible. We'll make a video about this in the further on the videos in the series. I hope you guys had fun. Thank you for watching and peace out.